Hey, good morning. Welcome to yoga. I'm happy that you're here. I cannot believe how fast the month of March has flown by. It seems like just a blink ago, I was introducing the idea of our garden and preparing our soil and taking all of the stuff that has blown in over the last few months and is cluttering up our garden or removing last year's stuff. And I was just sharing this concept with a group of people yesterday that happened to have brain injuries. And we were talking about the garden, and the things that they said were just astounding. I sometimes I wish there was a fly on the wall, or I had my recorder going or something. It's amazing to me that they're so impacted by their brain injury, and yet they're so wise, and they totally got the idea that their life represents a flower pot or a garden, and that there's weeds. A lot of people said there's a lot of weeds in my garden that there's no way I'm going to be able to grow if I don't get rid of the weeds. And so we're going to continue on that just for this week, coming into next week. But then the month of April, we're going to kind of shift gears a little bit, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited. I have some good ideas coming for the month of April, but let's keep on the theme of optimism today. And I want to teach an active class today. So I'm going to give you the warning. It's an active one, but don't be alarmed by that. It's an active one, but it's got a beautiful finish. And sometimes, just like when we're working the garden, we have to really work the dirt to get rid of the old stuff before we can settle in and be ready to plant some seeds. So that's where we're going. And I want you to find yourself in child's pose on your mat. So we're going to start there. And what that looks like, if you're unfamiliar with child's pose, is you find all fours. And then I like to separate my knees, bring my big toes together, and then sink my hips way back. And when I do this, it gives my heart a chance to sort of melt into the ground. My forehead's touching the mat. If your hips don't like that, they might like your knees together, thighs together, with your belly draped over your legs. That's okay too. Whatever's comfortable, but find yourself there. I'm going to turn my camera off as I always do. If you're new to me, you might be surprised to know that I don't do the practice with you. I really want you to understand your body and the language that your body's speaking, with me just sort of whispering in your ear places to go and travel around your mat. All right, start to find yourself just arriving on your mat, arriving in the moment, arriving, just you and your body, you and your breath, you and your mat. Begin to arrive. And begin to deepen your breath. Start to feel this relationship between your breath and your body. Feel your belly expand. Feel your lungs inflate. Feel the whisper of air across your upper lip. Start to pull in. We call this prana. Beautiful life. Every inhale, every exhale. Creep your fingers out a little bit more in front. Just spider walk them, and you'll feel this sensation through your side body. And now start to rise up onto all fours. Push your heart forward and let your nose travel up towards the ceiling. Let your belly be full here. And then push against the floor, round your spine, tuck your chin. Feel the opening as your shoulder blades separate. Start to link your breath here. You'll take a breath and lift your nose. And breathe out and round your spine. And do that again. I like to have my eyes closed here and really feel my body. Maybe slowing down just a little bit. Lengthening your breath. Beautiful. Take just a couple more here. And then find yourself still, tabletop. Go ahead and sit your heels back on with your hips back to your heels and sit up. So we're sitting tall with our torso. Knees are in that deep bend. This is wonderful for knee joints. Really increasing the blood flow here. If your hips don't quite touch your heels, that's okay. Nice. And now come back to tabletop. Go ahead and tuck your toes. Press into your hands. Really feel that connection. Spread your fingers wide. And then take a breath. And when you exhale, lift your hips up and back. Like making that upside down V shape. Your eyes are going to be looking at your toes. Your thighs are going to be pushing back into the quadriceps and the hamstrings just a little bit. So we take the front part of the thigh. We lift the quads, lift the kneecap, engage, and that pushes a little bit back into the hamstrings, straightening the legs. It's kind of a funny sensation. Sometimes we're just sort of there with our legs, but really push. Okay, and your heart's going towards those legs that are active. Now take your right leg and lift it up towards the ceiling, but keep your toes down. Sometimes we love to just roll open. It's going to be pretty linear for now. Take a breath and then help your right foot forward between your hands and lower onto your left knee. Reach your right arm up to the sky, that beautiful, easy twist. And then see what the hips are doing. Maybe try dropping, pulling the right hip back, dropping the left hip. Just feel. And now lower your right hand and bring both arms up as torso comes up. We call this a low crescent lunge. We're going to come into these angel wings here. So the palms are towards each other above your head, arms are high. And then just give a slight push of the hips forward and down. You feel this opening. Take a breath. And then bend your elbows and draw them behind you just a little bit. And do you see what just happened to your chest, your heart? Maybe even start to open your eyes and lift your nose. The legs might be working, maybe shimmering just a little bit to keep the balance, even though our legs are down and we're not even upright. We're low to the ground. The left shin is pressing into the mat, this beautiful half angel. Nice. And now inhale, arms are going to go high. Bring the hands back to the mat, framing the right foot. Now lift up the left kneecap. Lift it off the mat and straighten the left leg. It's a low lunge. Next time you breathe in, bring your torso up with your arms. High crescent lunge. Take a breath. Let's find angel wings. Bend your elbows. Draw a line with your nose. Work your legs. Feel the inner thighs working towards that center line of your mat. Maybe push your belly forward. Maybe lift your heart just a little bit more. Nice. Bring your arms up high. Crescent lunge, high lunge. Now let's open up to warrior two. Spin your back foot down. Your right toes are going to stay facing the top edge of your mat. Your arms are going to split lengthwise, like a T shape. Your eyes go to your right hand. So have this strong warrior spirit here. Beautiful. Reach the right arm up to the sky, peaceful warrior. Just starting to feel here. Bring your right elbow to your right thigh, inside angle. See if you can deepen the bend in your right leg. Left arm is going to go up first, and then it goes over your head so that your left bicep is near your left ear. Feel the heat building in your right leg. Remember that sweet breath that we had in child's pose. See if you can recreate it. One more breath cycle. And now find peaceful warrior once again. You'll windmill the arms back to the mat, frame the right foot. Push into the hands, take a breath. Use your belly here to lift the right foot off the mat and reach it back to downward facing dog. Take a breath. The left leg this time, we drive it up, but keep the toes down. This keeps the hips square to the floor. And then step it through, help it through. Left foot goes forward. Lower your right knee. Lift your left arm. We find that beautiful, easy twist. Sometimes I call this dragonfly. Just an easy twist. And then play again with your hips, kind of pulling one back, dropping one, and just see how you can change the sensation, just subtle shifts. Left hand is going to lower. Keep it down. Keep your right knee down on the mat and bring the body up. Low crescent lunge. Press your right shin down into the floor. Arms are high and we take a breath. And now find angel wings here. We're not just bending the elbows, we're drawing them behind us. This really forces the heart forward. Beautiful. Stay right there. Now take your arms high to the sky. Lower them to the mat, frame your left foot. Lift up your right kneecap. Find the low lunge. Powerful legs here. When you inhale next, bring your torso up with your arms high to the sky. High crescent lunge. Get your body organized. It's okay if you wobble. Today on the mat, I was practicing this sequence and I completely wobbled, almost to the point of wobbling over, just getting into a high lunge. Every day is a new adventure on the mat, so be tender with yourself. Let's find angel wings. Pull the elbows back, bend them, lift the heart, bring the eyes up, stay and breathe. Take the arms high, crescent lunge, high lunge. And now lower your back foot and open up to warrior two. Look at your left hand. Find that fierceness, really bend into the left leg. I even like to take my left knee and open it towards the pinky toe of my left foot. So I'm really getting good alignment, but I'm also really helping that inner thigh to do some of the work here. Sink a little bit. Now reach your left arm up to the sky. And let your right hand drape down your right leg. We find this beautiful, peaceful warrior. Now we're going to tick-tock the arms, lower the left arm onto the left thigh. Right arm goes up first. Create the space, deepen into the bend. Now bring your right arm towards your right ear and breathe. Extended side angle. Now let's reverse it. Find peaceful warrior. Feel the side body. Windmill the arms to the mat. Engage the core. Lift up your left foot and step it back to downward facing dog. Now heel and toe your feet as wide as your mat. Maybe if you're on a non-slip surface, off of the mat. Really push back into the heels here. See if they can lower just a little bit. Do you feel the space in the back, in the hamstrings? Beautiful. Now walk your feet back to hip width. Traditional downward facing dog. Shift the eyes forward and tiptoe the feet until you get to a forward fold, the top of your mat. Now from this forward fold, take the feet wide again, heel and toe out to the edges of your mat. Let's play with some hamstrings here. Bend your left knee a lot. Press the right heel into the mat as your right arm goes up to the sky. It's a beautiful twist, wonderful sensation in that straight-ish right leg. I like to keep my eyes just out to the side. Sometimes if my neck is really hurting, I go ahead and let my chin drop towards the floor. I don't need to see what my hand is doing. If your neck feels great, go ahead and take your eyes up to your right hand. Beautiful. Take a breath in. And then let your right hand float slowly to the mat as you come back into that wide forward fold. We're going to shift over to the right foot. Bend the right knee a lot. Push the left heel into the mat as the left leg straightens. Left arm goes to the sky. And we breathe. Figure out where your eyes like to be to protect your own neck. Go ahead and let your left arm float back down to the mat. Slide your hands to your shins. Take a breath in, halfway up. And then deepen your fold on your exhale. This time when you inhale, go ahead and roll the spine up slow as you can. We're going to keep our feet this wide as your mat, just for a moment or two. Slide your arms up to the sky. Hands are shoulder width apart, palm to palm. Take a big breath in here. And then just reach over to the right. You should feel this long line from your left armpit, down your left hip, down into your left ankle, the legs just a little bit wide. Use your core to draw yourself back up to center. You'll breathe. And then exhale over to the left. Really feel the right side here. Fantastic. Come back to center. Swan dive over your legs. Just float down. Maybe the knees bend. Beautiful. Once you get into the forward fold, go ahead and walk your feet in so that they're hip distance, maybe even a little bit closer. Take a halfway lift and a forward fold. You're gonna have a seat in the chair. Imagine that there's a chair behind your bum. Arms go up by the ears. If this hurts your back at all, bring your hands to heart center. It's sort of been my preference these days. But if you'd like to have your arms extended, make sure your chin is slightly tucked. You're bending the knees a lot. Make sure that you can see your toes. So a lot of times our knees are too far forward and we can't see our feet. We want to shift back into the heels. Here's where we're going to start to heat up the body a little bit, start to challenge ourselves to get in the dirt, to get in our flower bed, start to tear out the stuff that doesn't serve our greatest good. I want you to really get heavy in your heels, and we're going to pulse about 10. So you're just going to drop the hips, maybe an inch or two. We're going to build some heat in the thighs. You have about 8 more. Just pulse here. Maybe close your eyes. Here's 6. Feel the heat. Maybe go lower than you are. 3 more. 2 more. Last one, and now hold. Hold the chair pose in the deepest version that works for you. Can you find your breath? Getting into your soil. What is it that no longer needs to be in your garden? For me, it's those doubts, those creeping in thoughts of, really? Do you really think you can do this? Yes, I can. Drop an inch. And now we're going to stand tall. Drive the body high. Lift your right knee. Yeah, stand on your left leg. Don't think about it. Just do it. Beautiful. Take a big breath in. Lower your right foot, lower your arms, and close your eyes. Find your breath again. Arms are going to fly up to the sky. You'll take a big breath in. Swan dive over your legs. Float down. Take a halfway lift and a fold. And now have a seat in the chair. Bend your knees. Get deeper than you were before. Tuck your chin if your arms are by your ears. Maybe the hands come to heart center. Start to pulse. Start to pulse. Find the heat in your thighs. Pulse. Lift up your toes. Sink into your heels. And breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, and now stay. Sit with it. Breathe through it. Some of these challenging postures, these challenging experiences that we have both on and off the mat really teach us to dip into the toolbox, to use our breath, to know that it's temporary. Drop an inch, and now drive your body high to the sky. Bring your left leg with you. Steady the breath. You can do this. Take a big breath in here. Lower everything, including your eyes. Stand in mountain pose, palms shining forward, down by your side. This beautiful posture of strength. Take your arms high to the sky. Fold over your legs. Step your right foot back, bend your left knee, bring your arms above your head, that high version of a crescent lunge. Push into your right heel, really reach it to the back edge of your mat. Beautiful, we've been here. Take another breath in. Now we're gonna turn towards the right side of your mat into star pose. So turn the left foot, arms are above the head. This beautiful version of star. Now tee out your arms, palm face down. Try to take up as much space on the mat as you can. It's big and it's bright. Now bring your heels in, seal your palms together at your heart, and bend your knees. Try not to lean forward. This is horse pose. And again, with the palms touching, the knees bent, spine is straight, let's start to pulse and build some heat in the legs, starting to fire up that foundation, getting our soil nice and ready to be able to put those seeds of growth. Pulse, maybe go even lower, maybe close your eyes. 5, 4, 3, 2, and now stay. Press your palms together. Really start to light up the triceps by engaging the palms to palms. Feel the heat. Of course, we feel the heat in our legs. Can you find some heat through the upper arms, the shoulders, the triceps? Stay and breathe. Beautiful. Inhale, you rise. Come back to star. So pivot the heels out. Make a long line with your feet. Arms tee out, taking up all of the space that you can on your mat. Take a big breath in. Hinge from your hip crease and fold over your straightish legs. And now bring your hands right into the center of your stance. Perhaps just the fingertips are touching. Perhaps the palms are touching. Once you find a place for your hands to be, shift slightly back into the heels. And then breathe here for a moment. Experience that sensation. And now shift forward into the toes. Stay and breathe. Now begin to turn your left toes to the front. Walk your hands around so that they're framing the left foot. And we're back in that low version of the lunge, but the right knee is off the mat. Really bend here. And you're going to peek your eyes towards the top of your mat and step your right foot up about halfway, preparing for pyramid pose. Both legs are straight. We're on 2 separate lanes of traffic here. And so the left knee wants to bend slightly. That's okay. See if you can offer your heart forward. Come up halfway as you breathe. And now as you fold and exhale, pull the left hip back and maybe the nose goes towards the knee. Take the left outer hip and see if you can just pull it back just a little bit on every exhale. We really start to get into hamstrings here. Beautiful. And just stay and breathe. Perfect. Begin to bend the left knee and step the right foot back into that low lunge here. But the right knee is off the mat. There's a lot of emphasis here on straightening the right leg, creating a lot of space. Travel your eyes to the top of your mat. We're going to trust here for a moment. Push heavy into your left foot. And then launch your right leg high to the sky. It's a standing split-ish. We're not looking for this beautiful image that we might have in our minds. We're looking for feeling the spaciousness. Sometimes when I come to standing split, I even like to have my toes of my lifted foot down towards the floor. So I'm really working at squaring the hips to the mat. Other times I like to roll that hip open as I point the toe. Play with it. What feels good in your body today might be different if you return to the practice tomorrow. Take a breath in. And then bring your feet together at the top of your mat and you'll be in a forward fold. Take a halfway lift and a fold. This time, the left foot steps back and the right knee bends. We find the crescent lunge. Powerful, yeah? Bring your arms up, torso up. We find low lunge. Just organize the body here, really push into that back heel, sink into the front bent leg. And now let's open up to warrior two. Looking at the right hand, find peaceful warrior. Right hand goes high. Now we're going to turn to the left side of the mat in star pose. Arms might start above your head as you organize the feet, and then open them up, tee them out wide as you can, palms face down. Remember, this is about taking up a lot of space in the world. We are emerging from our winter slumber. It's time to blossom and to grow and to shine and to be all that we are. We brush off the sleepiness. We take up a lot of space. Turn your heels inward, press your palms together at your heart, and bend your knees. Remember the heat in our thighs? Let's start to pulse. As you drop the hips slowly, press into the palms, fire up those triceps. You have about 8 more. See how low can you go? Spine is straight. Power here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and now hold your horse. Press palm to palm. Close your eyes. Feel the heat. Starting to find warmth, not just in our outer environment as we come into our new season, but in our inner environment. Building up some heat as we create this idea of growth. Nice. Straighten your legs. Pivot your heels. Find star pose. Take a lot of space. Take a breath in, hinge at your hips and forward fold. Let your hands find the mat. Play with fingertips or palms, maybe bend your knees if you need to. And then figure out, where do you want to be in this wide forward fold? Do you want to put pressure into the heels? Does that feel different and better for you? Pressure into the toes. Does that feel better for you? Let your head fall towards the floor. Just breathe. Now start to turn your right toes back to the top of your mat. Walk your hands around them. Find the low lunge. Really push through the left heel. We're going to use our belly here. Shift the eyes forward. Step up about halfway. And now straighten both legs. Get ready for pyramid. We're going to inhale as our heart goes up and forward. And when we exhale, we fold over that straightish front leg. Pull the right hip back. Maybe the outer right hip pulls back just a little bit and you feel here. Maybe you can deepen into the pyramid just a little bit. We're going to start to bend the right knee so that the hands can frame the foot. Step the left foot back just a little bit to find that length and strength in the left leg. Eyes are going to go forward. We're going to put every bit of our weight into the right foot as we inhale, the left leg lifts, standing split-ish. Play with this. See what it feels like to have your toes down so that the hips are square to the mat. And then maybe lift open the left hip, point the toes. See how that feels. Neither one is right. Both are fine. Take a breath. And now lower the left foot and you'll be in a forward fold. Beautiful. Bend your knees a lot. Come on down to a seat, but keep your body upright. Let your knees go up towards the ceiling. Bring your hands behind your hamstrings. Find that balance point on the base of your body, on your sitting bones, your butt bone. Start to lift the shins off of the mat. Squeeze your shoulder blades together in the back like a zipper. This forces the heart forward. Engage your belly. We're in boat pose. Take your hands off of your hamstrings and just bring them by your legs. Lift your heart. Steady your breath. Beautiful. Lower your heels and just pause for a second. Boat pose, second round. Find your hamstrings with your hands. Find the balance point. Lean back just a little bit as your shins rise. Take your hands away from your hamstrings. Breathe. Lift the heart. Breathe. Firing up the core. Our center of our belly is our third chakra. It is where decisions are made, where there is will. This particular week of the month, we're looking at, okay, I'm clearing out my garden. I'm getting rid of the stuff that's in the way. What is it that's churning in me that is seeking to emerge? Take another breath in. Lower your feet, cross your ankles, roll over your knees, and meet me in downward facing dog. When you get your hips up and back in this upside down V shape, just play a little bit, shifting the weight from foot to foot, maybe shimmying the hips, tucking the chin, rolling the head. Beautiful. Now steady your body. Bring your right leg up to the sky. Beautiful. Three-legged dog. Take a breath in. And bring your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Lower your left knee, coming into lizard or runner's lunge. Hands are going to stay on the floor. If it's uncomfortable and you have a pillow or a block nearby, you can rest your hands on that and bring the floor up just a little bit. If you're extra flexible today, you might lower onto your forearms. And again, neither way is right. It just is. What a beautiful lesson for life. Maybe the forearms are down. Maybe the hands are on blocks or pillows. As I came into this posture this morning, I realized that without being judgmental of myself, I was the observer. One side is very different than the other. I didn't think that anything was wrong. I just remembered that it is. You might tuck your chin, you might round your spine. Tuck your left toes, lift up your left knee. Press into your hands. Engage your core that we just fired up in boat pose. Take a breath. And Step your right foot back to downward facing dog. Left leg this time, reach it high to the sky. Just feel the opening here. Eyes are at your right toes. When you inhale next, draw the left knee forward, left foot lowers to the mat on the outside of our hands, and we lower our right knee. And this is where we become that observer. We have a tendency to immediately analyze something as right or wrong, good or bad. It just is. And so if this side, your hands need the floor to get higher, that's okay. Maybe this side, your elbows can drop. That's okay too. Find yourself this beautiful runner's lunge, or lizard, and breathe. Softening something. Allowing the shoulders to just drip down the back. Now curl your right toes. Press into the mat with your hands. Draw your belly in, engage it, fire it up. Step your left foot back to downward facing dog. Drop to your knees and bring your hips back to child's pose. Again, coming into this decision for yourself, do my knees prefer to be open or closed? It just is. I'm going to come into puppy dog pose. Such a beautiful way to prepare to finish. Come to all fours. And then lower your forearms to the mat, but keep your hips sticking up towards the ceiling above your knees. See if you can feel the sensation of your heart melting towards the ground as your forehead rests on the mat. Arms are extended out in front. So forearms are down, hips are high, heart melting, forehead pressing against the floor. This is a beautiful quieting. This is a much easier posture for some people who have wrist pain. Instead of downward facing dog, you can always come to puppy dog. It's just a little bit harder to transition with the legs and all of that, but it's just an option. But it's a nice way to quiet down. And now from puppy dog, find child's pose. And then swing your legs around in front and lower onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. And then reach down and find your feet on the outside. Find happy baby. Pushing the hands into the feet and the feet into the hands. Knees are bent towards the armpits, and this allows the spine to get long against the mat. And now slip your hands off of your feet and tee out your arms wide, palms face down. Take a breath. Drop your knees to the left. And let your nose turn over towards your right side. Beautiful supine twist. Bring your knees back up to center. Let them float to the right as your nose falls to the left. Beautiful. Bring your knees back up. Lower the feet to the mat. Bring the soles of the feet together like a book. Open your knees as the pages open. You might connect your hands onto your body to reconnect with the sensation of life and prana moving through you. You can stay here, or you can extend everything out into that final pose of peacefulness, integration of mind and body. And this idea of churning the soil, preparing, emptying out, building up heat, letting that metaphor of the earth warming as we enter into this season of growth, warming our own soil, building heat in the body, and waking up from our winter. Start to bring your awareness to breathing. Don't make any movements, but just find your attention on the beautiful breath. Maybe deepen the breath. Start to bring some movement back into the body. And as always, it is such an honor as I reflect on the past year, just all of the support from each of you who choose to show up on the mat, who choose to support me in this version of yoga. I look forward to seeing you soon in person, I hope. And I look forward to continuing to share from my studio into your home. I think it's a beautiful gift to yourself when you can develop a home practice. It's something very intimate and a beautiful way to really self-discover. I appreciate each of you. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for supporting me and helping me sustain my business over the last 13 months. I'm so grateful. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Come to this practice again and again. And then in this series, you'll also find a strap practice. It's a quick one, but it's just designed to kind of really open up those hamstrings in a different way. Hope to see you there too. All right, take care.